These test tubes are tiny, yet they're a treasure trove for this research team.
Out of curiosity, are these spleens or are these kidneys?
Each tube contains a sample of bat tissue, liquefied by a fast-spinning device. They're ready to analyze for viruses that could one day make the jump to humans and spark a future pandemic.
We know that we're increasing our encroachment upon wild animals with habitat destruction and climate change. The opportunities for zoonotic transmission of viruses from animals to humans are only increasing over time.
Western University virologist Ryan Troyer has been studying animal-borne pathogens for years, researching creatures from bobcats to house cats. He's now among those warning we could see another COVID-level threat in our lifetime.
I think it's not going to really be possible in the future to prevent the transmission of viruses from animals to humans, but if we're ready to prevent a small outbreak from becoming a pandemic, that's really, I think, the key.
It comes into this machine here.
A key goal of this project is building a bank of vaccines that could prove useful years or decades down the line.
So what we're also doing is we're going to be looking deeper into these tissue samples and trying to get a good look at the entire picture of what other kind of viruses are there. Are they able to have the potential to infect humans? And to try to identify those ahead of time so that we can also put fragments of those viruses in our vaccine bank as well.
Getting to that point is a long way off. This type of research is dependent on fragile funding and partnerships with vaccine developers.
The idea is to have those seeds, or essentially vaccines that can easily be upscaled to production levels.
From the heights of the Amazon rainforest to the depths of underground bat caves, you can find animals carrying potentially dangerous viruses in regions around the world. Throughout history, multiple pandemics have been caused by animal-to-human spillover. And gathering samples of potential threats is the first step toward preventing another one. In the underbelly of the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto, Burton Lim stores thousands of bat tissue samples at a temperature of -80 degrees.
These are bats from Guyana.
Some of his samples date back to the late 1980s.
We have a very peculiar, meticulous way of freezing them in liquid nitrogen. That's a lot of work, a lot of extra money and effort to save them that way, but that's the best way to study DNA, is to get them as cold as possible.
Lim has sent hundreds of samples off for analysis so far, just a small selection of the museum's nearly 15,000 bat tissue specimens.
I was excited that I was able to work on evolutionary studies, but if they can help human health, that's even better.
Back in the lab, researchers have identified dozens of viruses in the bat samples so far, and they're hoping to maintain momentum long after the threat of the COVID-19 pandemic fades from public consciousness.
I think this really caught a lot of our public health authorities and governmental authorities off guard. And so now I think we have this real opportunity to really prepare and be ready.
That next viral threat might be hiding in their samples or lurking in a bat cave thousands of kilometers away, just waiting for a chance to strike. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.